Hey, welcome in, folks. It's Babbaginator. We're having a bonus stream this Sunday night because normally I am busy playing D&D, but we're running a D&D game. Big sneezes. Wow. That was unexpected. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted. Normally I am running D&D or playing D&D on Sunday nights, but there's a break in our schedule. And so I decided I would hop on. Okay, so our situation is such that we need to find our way. Really need to get to the dam. And that most likely will mean having to bypass some wolves.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
Maybe what we'll try for is to try to make it to the lookout tower. Let's see if there's a way through here. Hello? Okay. Yeah, it's working. So, as if you've been watching the last few days, you know that this is a matchless run, i.e. it's a challenge run in Interloper in which I try to survive as long as I can, never using matches. So, we live entirely... Oh, that sucks. We use just flares, magnifying lens, and firestriker to start fires.
Good. Weak.
I'm gonna pause here briefly because my nose is running. I need to find my Kleenex box. Okay, we are. So I figure we can probably get up here without having to run into any wolves. So we can productively search for more stuff. Oh, waiting for the sun to come out. So I honestly don't know who's going to show up in stream tonight. We are usually not on Sunday night, so no one's probably expecting me to be streaming. Oh, we really need to make ourselves a hat. Failed. We rushed that shot.
Jeez, this is cold.
It's whirling. Welcome in, lurkers. So if you're joining us for the first time, I am Babbaginator. I stream The Long Dark. I am a Canadian streamer based in Vancouver, BC. I'm currently finishing a Master's in Library and Information Science at UBC. But I hold other degrees and have done other things. I used to be a computer games programmer. I'm also a published author with 2 books of poetry. I teach creative writing. I'm actually in the middle of teaching a 10-day intensive online course in creative merging poetry. What else do I do? I don't know. Lots of stuff. But we're here. Let's see, we'll throw it on. Oh, I do translation work. I work on operas as well. But yeah. But this challenge, if you're unfamiliar with it, is survive as long as you can in Interloper with no matches. Okay, we do need a head wrap. Come on. Come on, Astrid, you can do this. Seriously. That's an improvement. How much cloth do we have left? Only 2 pieces of cloth. leave the crappy one here. Oops. Do I even have a charcoal?
It's dusk, so night can't be far behind.
Keep doing this annoying thing. Nice. Okay. Surveyed. Ordinarily we would be cooking up the tomato soup, but we don't have any means of starting a fire, except our maglins. It's too dark. So, I guess the easiest thing to do would be to have the maple syrup, even though that makes a lot of pancakes. We're going to go this route. How high up are you? I don't know.
Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life.
Good to see you, EG. Yeah, we're just doing a little bonus stream tonight since no D&D. Much sadness. My Sunday night group all had other conflicts for the weekend. Well, we found 2 skillets. This is an extra skillet. Okay. Yeah, we were only educated enough to do it. I had a phone call with my mother earlier today, and it sounds like, I don't know, I think she wants me to move back to Saskatchewan.
Anything right about now.
I think she's been weighing the options about moving out here and realizing selling her place won't get her enough to buy anything out here. Which I totally get. And, but there's a part of me that wants to wait until April, give myself a chance to see if either UBC, my university, comes through with a job, or one of the local options pays off and turns into a regular job. If I can get like a university, like an academic librarian role, then I'll have enough income that I think between the two of us we could probably buy something. Not anything fancy, but something to start. Maybe. Actually, no. It'd be tough. I think there's I think the reality is that there'll probably be at least a year or two, if I stay out here, at least a year or two in which I'm renting as opposed to buying something, at least. it's just that difficult to get into a position where you can buy something. Like the realistic thing to do would be to stay someplace like where I am right now, which is very cheap, and just have a better income and then save as much as possible until I have enough that I can actually step out into the housing market somewhere. I applied to Walmart for a summer job. Following years, August, they reached out about an interview. Yeah, they can be really slow sometimes. I worry too about a return to Saskatchewan as being, I don't know, it's not the end of the world, but I do feel like the world is smaller, you're more closed off, transportation options are fewer, winter is long, and so the tendency to stay inside all the time, to cut yourself off from the outside world is greater. And I think that's a real problem for me because I don't really want to go back to that. I like the fact that where I live right now, I can go for walks. Every day I'm going for walks. And, yeah, there are rainy days, but there's also a lot of sunshine. It's bright, beautiful, it's temperate, it's not brutal one way or another. Um, I like sort of the amount of activity in terms of the arts and culture. There's arts and culture in Saskatchewan too, but it does feel a little bit more cut off. And I worry too because I feel like I'm not certain really where I'm supposed to land anymore. I just feel like increasingly the jobs that I'm interested in don't really exist, So I don't think we got any hazy. I don't think it's bright enough to start a fire. Good try. Oh, no. It's bright enough to start a fire. I'll take it. Get a grant for the Babo bookmobile? Okay, I think what we do need to do right now is get some water going. We probably should have done this inside, but I mean, the pros of going back would be like I simply move back into the house. I reclaim my spot in the basement in a room that I designed to be an office, and so my office and my bedroom. It's like practically its own apartment down there. It doesn't have its own kitchen, but it's a good size unit. And where am I going to find something like that? Just not, right? So okay. Oh, we didn't take the cooking oil. Oh, that's our fault. Plus, I don't think we're smart enough yet to do them, right? No, we could do bannock. Cooking skill's insufficient for pancakes. So I think it just means we're going to end up, drinking our syrup. Yeah. I don't know. I like being on the coast. I really do. But I do get the fact that my mother would like me to be around. And moving out here does not seem as plausible.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
We've got lots of extra water. Just drop those two and grab some extra torches. Yeah. Oh, to be independently wealthy, right? Just not have to worry, just you have a guaranteed home, you have guaranteed income, you just go wherever you feel like going. Must be nice. Okay. We're going to the dam. We're going to see if we can find ourselves a bedroll.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Other interesting news, I got an email from the director of my program asking if I'd be interested in picking up some additional consulting work. Which I'll have to take a closer look at to see if it's something I want to do. But initial glances, it looks like things that I don't have experience in doing directly, so would have to learn something new. But it's not the end of the world. Although I think I'm going to recommend that they go through the project team that I work with. That way our team gets accredited, gets credit for working on these projects. Which will help build establish more of a value for. Because that's one of the big concerns is have we, forgone. Are we demonstrating our value, right? What projects have we worked on?
I think I can use this.
And there's there's kind of a gap in the, in sort of what's available. No, don't get all breezy on us. Don't think they'll let us start a fire in here, right? Oh, it will. I'll take that. If you have high enough scent, the bear can smell you halfway across the map. Really? I think I tried to avoid doing that. Yeah, I think you have to do it. Yeah, exactly. You have to do it that way. Hmm. Stick it in like full one. If the wind is still like this after an hour, then I think we're just going to have to go without. Oh, there we go. Okay.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
It's hard to believe the writing class that I've been teaching is almost done. We finish on Wednesday. But it's been such an intensive experience. It's lecturing 3 hours a day plus providing 90-minute coaching sessions for each of the participants, plus attending additional events, all of which are online, right? And so it's just can get pretty long and exhausting. Plus, I'm also preparing materials, reading my students, poems and making comments on things. But yeah, all this teaching is reminding me how much I enjoy teaching, and I worry that if I end up in a more developer-like role, I'll just lose the opportunity to teach. That's convenient pry bar. I think it's our first one. Oh, what do you think? Are we going to find the bedroll here? Either in the dam or outside the dam? We still don't have a hacksaw, so harvesting anything is not really feasible. Too much labor. Too much work. Nope. Still nothing. Oh, will it let me do it with a pry bar? I don't think so. Nope. You can dig it out with a pry bar. I also, between last stream and this stream, I also did a little bit of poking around to see what the going rate is on startplaying.com for, basically being a professional DM, renting out your services, running games. And, I mean, it ranges quite a bit between 12. I think the lowest I've seen is like 10, which I think no one really should charge 10. Many people starting out charge 20. And then there are some examples of people who charge, 30, 35, and then 50, I think is like the really high end. 50 per player for like a 3 or 4 hour session. But I also look at what they offer, and it's like a lot more, right? They're going to offer, Tailspire or Foundry or, some more elaborate virtual tabletop experience. It's per session. So for the players, it's actually not a bad deal, It's like what it might cost you to go out to eat and, see a movie or something like that. Easily in that ballpark. So I don't know if I were to do that, how many games I would want to run. Would I do one a day? 5 days a week or something like that? Or would I pick days and then kind of load them up? It's like, okay, I'm going to do 3 games Tuesdays and Thursdays or Fridays or something like that. Oh yes, we are slouching, aren't we? Ugh. So hydrate. Big stretch. Oh, big stretch. And Baba block. Yeah, we want to make certain we have enough food that doesn't require us to cook anything, since we may be going stretches without access to fire if we're in a cave. Well, if we're in a cave, we're not staying in the cave, right? But yeah, would you pay $30 for a 3-hour session? You know, once a week. I think if it was a good experience, you might. Especially if you didn't feel like you had any options locally. I think I was eating a rabbit or something. One of the game achievements, I heard about this, 25 days in Langston Mine without leaving zone of contamination. This is wild. Yeah, you totally get cabin fever. Hello, who's over here? Oh, it's Mr. Deer. Well, we can try for a hacksaw in the dam. Okay. He did. I think he kind of made noises like he was a wolf too. Wolf deer. So yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna try to stay here in Vancouver until April, and then I might end up packing up and going back to Saskatchewan. if I don't have a solid job out here. Like, even if I get the position at the, you know, this one community center library, pay's not great. It's sufficient for like where I'm living right now, but it's not going to really allow me to get ahead. It's significantly below, you know, what's really survivable here in Vancouver. So, but in terms of initial experience, it's not bad as an initial experience. And if it were like a secondary income, if I had a main income, then maybe it would be fine.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
A best-selling poetry book will not pay any bills whatsoever. No. Yeah, what I really should do would be crank out a whole bunch of poems that are set to music that get popular enough to get performed all over the world. And then the royalties from that would create, you know, a regular income, passive income. But yeah, yeah.
Hope nobody needs this anymore. I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Peaches. Okay. Nope, there's something dead over here.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Still good.
Cold. So cold. Come on. Take a fire.
Oh, I just realized the problem here. We don't have a bedroll. I will have to go back.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
What happened to our posters here? Weird. Okay, I think we have to come back and search later before it gets dark. Cross over to this side so I don't get zapped. Let's see. Wolf. Here. Wolf. Wait. You're waiting for the torch to go up?
No.
Okay. Nothing else we can do. Well, we could try to cook. Make new torches and cook. But we'd have to wait for the wolf to leave. So I think we just call it. Okay, what else do we have? Lots of stuff to prepare.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
We'll cook that later. This one.
I could eat a horse. I never thought I'd be dying from starvation. I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay, leave me alone, Wolf. I'm kind of curious what happened to that window. It looks like the crane fell into the window. We've got a new problem, which is that there's not enough. Can't start a fire. Let's try this then.
I've never been so hungry in my life.
Well, that didn't work. Hoping the winds would die down and we would get a chance to start a fire.
I'm not sure I can carry much more. I need to find food.
Oh, perfect.
Come on, little fire. Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Okay. No, we don't want the crappy ones, we want the good ones. Okay.
I gotta eat soon.
Okay.
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Well, we're gonna have the same problem as before. We gotta move quickly. See if we can find bedroll. Okay. Didn't think anything would be down here, but always double check in case I move stuff around.
Oh, lucky day. I'll take it. Not sure I can carry much more.
So we have enough time to check one more room. Okay. Parts strikeout. We found some canned soda, and that was about it.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
Ooh, hey, welcome in. Blue Dino, it's been a while. Yeah. I think we still don't have a bedroll, so before it gets dark out, we're going to go back and stay in one of the trailers. Hey, good to see you. How goes it? Well, we are... What are we at now? 5 days in, I guess we can update that. 5 days into our Matchless Loper run, which basically we're surviving without using matches. Why? Because we like a challenge. Yeah, so the longest we've made it was, I think, 39 days. We were trying to hit 50 days. No, Libby. Yeah. Other than that, I've got one last class to finish up over the summer, which is a research project. So it's not any homework assignments as much as just ongoing research updates to the faculty person I'm working with. And then possibly some code writing as well for analysis. And then I'm done with my degree. And my current position at the university will continue until December. So they offered me like about 15 hours of work a week until December. It's something. But I'm looking at some other options. There's a local community center that has a library. It serves a particular demographic. It doesn't pay great, but it pays reasonably well for limited hours. So it's like 30 hours instead. 30 hours a week. Pays only $32 an hour, but that's the top end, right? So it's a good starting point, but it's definitely not where you want to end up. So it's like if you were retired, it would be a good wage, and if you were fresh out of university looking for your first librarian role, it might be a good place to gain the experience and then transition that into a full-time role somewhere else. So I'm looking at that one. I put the application in, and then we'll find out, in a few weeks if I get to the interview stage. What else is going on? The opera I'm working on is currently in development, and so they are at the stage where they are nailing down the first performance window, like when it's going to debut, and then once they have that, they can do the casting, and they can also hire the lighting and set designer, costume designer for the show, which is all exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out, but right now we're just waiting for firm dates. And then I was mentioning earlier this stream, I think I'm going to stay in Vancouver until end of April for certain, and then I have to weigh my options. I'm like, if if there are better opportunities for me back in Saskatchewan, as much as I don't really want to go back to Saskatchewan, it may be the best thing to do. I do have my mother's getting older, and currently she's living on her own in a big house, well, in a modest sized house. And it would be nice to, spend some time with her again and help out around the house too. And it would save me a lot of money if I wasn't renting somewhere. So, plus I already have set up like a whole kind of pseudo apartment down in the basement there, which I helped renovate. So, I mean, it would work. I mean, it worked out of there for a couple of years during the pandemic. I could keep working. But, as a writer, I could keep working. As a streamer, I could keep working. As a writing coach, I can keep working there. But I just worry that it'll be more of a dead-end position, like in terms of the library roles. I just don't know what's going to be available. I have better connections with the public library than with the academic libraries there. There's parts of being in public library that would be fine, but there's a part of me that likes being involved in research. I totally understand why my father was drawn to being in special collections in the public library, because it was kind of the closest thing to being an academic librarian within the role of a public librarian. And I kind of feel that. I would like to do something similar. But we'll see. We'll see what's available. Yeah. I mean, there's just sort of practical things about, like, taking care of family and being financially responsible. But I also feel, I want to feel like I have options in my social life, and not that I'm just going back to someplace. I think the biggest challenge I have with Saskatchewan, especially with Regina, is the city itself is kind of lost, I would say. Its heart is really just government. Like, that's the biggest industry there, is government. They have a university, but the university really struggles sometimes to define itself as an academic. Like, as a professional training ground, I think it succeeds if you're interested in learning specific skills. But it's not a destination school, at least not that I'm familiar with, when it comes to the areas I'm most interested in, right? You don't usually think of, like, U of R as a destination for studying creative writing. It's just not. And nor is it, like, sort of groundbreaking in English literature. It's not. It's fairly conservative and traditional. This may be changing, it may take some time, it may be changing, but it's kind of fairly conservative. Yeah, so if there's innovation, it's happening in other areas, but it may not be happening in the areas that I would like to work. So I would love to come back and work, teach at a university level in creative writing. I wonder sometimes what that would be like at that institution, but I think even if it were fairly conservative, I think I would carve out a place for myself. If it's within the library system in the university, I would have to do more research to figure out what exactly they need. I feel like if there's a need for a liaison librarian or a subject librarian, then that's where my strength would be. If there's a need for someone with digital scholarship training, like the ability to code and to apply that coding skill set to helping people accomplish different research projects, help them develop the skills so that they can code as well, that's something I can help with. But yeah, I don't feel like people go to Saskatchewan, especially to U of R, primarily to study English language, as in international students coming to study English language. It's like an opportunity to experience the Canadian prairies in the heart of Canada. It's financially relatively cheap to do that. It's real winter, and if you've never experienced a real winter, that might be tempting until you experience it. And he's like, "Why did I want to do this?" Yeah. So I don't know. I also think it's a hard year to be looking for work. So
God, I'd eat anything right about now.
yeah, windy, stormy.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
I mean, we could cross over. I don't know if we got any new feathers.
Damn, I'm freezing. And this pack is getting kind of... Where can I find something to eat?
Nope, still can't start a fire. again. And once again,
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
spooky. In and out.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Anything we missed would be useful. Nope. I'm debating how long I want to stream tonight. I do have to be up early. I mean, do we just chug the syrup? Maybe we chug the syrup tonight. Welcome in lurkers. We have a few more lurkers. Oop, and then we lost one.
I'm starving.
Just doing super chill matchless loper run. Matches are overrated. You don't need them, right? Interloper's fine without matches.
I could eat anything right now. I am so hungry. This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Check this out. We're using the fire starting book to start a fire.
Come on, little fire. I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
If I were selling a fire starting book, I would definitely make it flammable. Like extra flammable. Okay.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Yeah, missed it.
This stuff will come in handy.
Not really. I mean, for starting fires, yes, but that's about it. No, we don't want the restroom, but we will take cloth. Oh. Okay, let's try our luck downstairs. Oops, didn't mean to throw that. Okay. Okay.
This pack is getting kind of heavy. Oh, lucky day.
Hmm. Don't go out, don't go out. Okay, I'm tired. Or wait, I am tired. We should plan our exit from here soon. Okay. Yeah, we'll check the pipes and winding roller. Yeah, definitely getting tired. Okay.
This'll come in handy.
Nope. Not gonna bother. Did I miss it? I think I missed it. I think it's in here. Or is it on the other side of this? Okay. Brain is tired making silly mistakes. Is it back this direction? Oh, so tired. Okay. Backtrack one more time. Figure out where the... Sleepy. No, there's the exit. Let's see if we can find
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. Come on, little fire. Come on. Perfect.
we can do better than this. Okay, bedroll, yay! Victory, bedroll, big win. Okay, I'm feeling better about this one now.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay. Ooh, I'm sleepy. Ooh. Okay. Let's do it. Let's get to the cave. We ran away quickly.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, so I think we'll wrap up with the cave. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Come on, little fire.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we'll sit for an hour and then we'll pick up where we left off. So day 7. So we went from 3 to 7. Okay. Okay, that's us saved. Okay, we'll be back again next time. But let's see, before we go, let's read a poem. Well, I can still do it before I fall asleep. Where is it at? Where's my poem chooser? There he is. Comment. Oh, too much work. Okay. Well, let's see who we can come up with then. Let's see. Through our files here in a second. Okay. Poems that we could read. Do something very different. Someone's to Okay. This is from the poet John Pineda, Memory in the Shape of a House Made of Doors. If anything, it is like the house his friend had told him about, made completely out of doors, somewhere in Colorado or California. He liked the idea. A house built with nothing but used doors, each with its own history of useless hinges and rusty locks. In a busy deli in Chapel Hill, he listened to a friend describe how each wall was a wall of doors pieced together. Workers behind the counter were yelling customers' names. As he sat there listening, he thought of his sister years ago in bed after the car accident had left her paralyzed and unable to speak. If the door to her room was closed, he would check on her. He took this moment and slowly pushed it open, walked inside to find her still there, waiting for anyone. When she saw it was him, she wanted to say his name. She tried, but the word became only a breath in the room, where the walls were like the walls in his friend's story, his memory a house made of nothing but doors. He heard his name in someone else's mouth, saw it was only a girl behind the counter calling across a room filled with bodies coming and going. Memory in the Shape of a House Made of Doors, which is a really cool, strange idea that becomes a way of thinking about memory and loss and how, people we lose are kind of frozen in a particular moment in our memories. that we come and go, and they don't. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's read another poem. Something from me. Okay, I guess in similar fashion we have Babbage. Babbage Explaining God and the Machine. This is from my second book, Babbage's Dream, published by Sendris Publications in 2017. Babbage here is Charles Babbage, 19th century mathematician, who designed, partially built, but never finished what would have been the first computer. One of the other things he did is he used it as kind of an analogy, kind of a way of thinking about, how to reconcile a belief in God with a deterministic world. Like in the 19th century, he occupied this strange space of being like a mathematician and scientist who wanted to bring his thinking around science into his own religious belief. And so used sort of the idea of a programmable machine as a way of thinking about it. Strange. But I think you'll find, as we get to the end of it, weirdly, prescient in terms of how he thinks about it. Babbage Explaining God and the Machine. How it comes out of this, you standing before the unknown, gesturing to the half-formed mass of brass and pewter, this body of polished gears and wheels, numbered shafts, a thing that evokes memory, foresight, that plans ahead what it must carry, what it can safely forget. This machine arising out of an idea shaped by a desire for reason perfected, for ideal tables and tabulations, an ordered reality formed out of chaos, steam or hand turned by an operator who has set in motion a program, a coded list of instructions to make a world, to produce all nature complete with miracles. It's so clear that there is nothing that really needs to be explained away by meddling gods, fickle fate. Everything fits within this mechanized plan. Everything has a home. Though it's hard to comprehend those moments when death steals the body, turns it still, or worse yet, robs the mind of agency, makes what little remains nothing more than broken automaton, empty clockwork. Oh, what then to make of the absent soul when the house is dark and emptied, when the wind is the only one to stir the candle and hush you to sleep? So for Babbage, he would frequently use his, the prototype that he built of the difference engine, but it also was a way of kind of illustrating some key points about the analytical engine. The difference engine was more like a sophisticated calculational device for producing tables and tables of numbers. You would give it an equation, and then each crank of the turn would evaluate that equation on the number range that you had set, and it would just keep cranking through until it finished. So you could produce tables of trigonometric values, or you could produce tables of other sort of commonly calculated values that were used. People didn't want to recalculate them every single time doing scientific or engineering related work, and so. And if they were hand calculated, they frequently ended up with errors. So anyways, he designed this thing to do this, and then he got into a conversation. Well, actually, he forced his way into a written conversation. There was a series of books called the Bridgewater Treatise, which would invite very astute and thoughtful members of the intelligentsia of Victorian England. Basically, the smart people, usually philosophers and preachers and others, humanists, right, to be involved in the writing of these different, like, deep dives into different aspects of theology and theological thought. Babbage although he was a mathematician, desperately wanted, it felt like slighted when he asked if he could be part of this series, and they said no. So his response then was to write his own treatise, publish it as Ninth Bridgewater Treatise, a fragment, and basically write himself into the series. One of the things he has, there's a chapter in there, that's alluded to in this poem, where he says, the existence of miracles, whether it is of someone coming back from the dead or of anything that seems to circumvent or override the natural order, the natural law, he says, is not the evidence of someone from outside kind of messing around with laws of nature. But instead, he says, imagine that everything we see, everything that plays out in the natural world and the world around us, all of natural phenomenon, is the output of a program that's been written. And that miracles are simply subroutines. They're simply deviations from the main code to a separate piece of code that executes when a condition is met. And then when the subroutine is run and completed, it returns to the main program. And so he says, God doesn't have to be someone who transgresses natural order. Instead, he's simply someone who understands on a much deeper level what the natural law is as the person who wrote the code for it, effectively. So what Babbage really is arguing is a type of combination between intelligent design and simulation theory, which is way ahead. Again, like if he's 130 years ahead of his time in creating a computer, is even farther ahead in terms of considering simulation theory. So anyways, it's kind of fascinating. But at the end of the day, I mean, what the poem really arrives at is at the end, all this neat theoretical speculation really doesn't solve the fact that if you come home to an empty house, having lost your wife and a number of your children to disease, there is still something that feels unanswered and haunting about that silence. And even if you intellectually can imagine it as being part of some big plan, it still hurts. And that's what can he say? What can he say what can he make of these absences when it's only the wind that's his company? Yeah. So anyways, that's Babbage explaining God and Machine. Yeah. Okay, thank you for hanging out with me, listening to my long-winded explanation this time. We are going to find someone to raid, and I am going to go to sleep because I am tired. I haven't been so, nodding off in a while, so I kind of feel like that's a sign I really should be back into bed soon. Let's see, Carradine, Deadpool, NVD, Fuller, Meat Cube, Adric, Shards. I don't know. Maybe we'll go to Deadpool today. He's only got 6 viewers on right now, so